So we teach a 5-step process, I guess, to process your relapse. And what I want these guys to do is realize that the relapse just didn't happen like in an instant moment. There was a series of events that led you up into that point when you made a decision. So I think the first thing that these guys have to get to the point of taking the responsibility that them viewing porn is a decision that they've made. It's decisions that they made before they joined the program. And if they relapse, the relapse was a choice and decision that they made to look at pornography. So it's an acceptance of personal responsibility on your choices and decisions that you're making.
Like it didn't just happen to you.
Nobody tied you down to the table or tied you down to the chair and put you in front of a computer and said, watch this. And if that is the case, you have a bigger problem in your life than pornography. Right. And I would tell you to address that problem.
Address the kidnapper.
Yeah. Yeah. But if you weren't kidnapped and you made the choice to look at pornography, we're going to take you back and we're going to run you through 5 steps. So you need to identify the initial trigger. What was it? And the guys will get to the root of their triggers.
Eventually.
It's a part of our week 1. Yeah. I mean, before we even begin the fast and anything else, we need to understand your weak spots, vulnerabilities, triggers, urges, so we can understand and begin to put guardrails up in your life. But once you've done that initial homework and you understand all of that, okay, now we need to get back to the point of you figuring out, okay, in this decision that you made, which became a relapse, where did that trigger first come? So we're all going down this path. Like all of the men are walking one path. And then at some point in their journey, there's a fork in the road. And the fork in the road splits. And you have a choice there to either stay on the path of staying clean and not looking at pornography, or you return back to making the choice and decision to look at pornography again. So what I want the men to do is return back to that point when the fork in the road split. Sometimes it's an hour before the relapse. Sometimes it's a day before the relapse. Sometimes it's 2 to 3 days. And it could be because they're not doing their homework. They're not doing the morning assignments. They're not doing the daily gratitude. It could be they saw a certain woman at the gym and maybe approached her and got rejected. And then they internalized that for the next 6 hours. And then when they got home and they were sitting on it, it began to kind of bottle up and manifest. So we need to get you to that point, though, of in your road where it split. And instead of staying porn free, you chose the path of going back and returning to pornography. So that's the first step. Identify where that is. Then figure out what is the wrong choice that you made and get really clear on it. Like, this is what I did that I shouldn't have done. Then figure out what the alternative choice should have been. So what would have been the better decision? When I felt triggered, when I felt urged, should I have gotten myself out of the environment that I was in? Should I have gone outside and gone around the block for a walk? Should I have jumped in the cold shower? Should I have done some push-ups? All these other tools and variables, you need to be clear on what you should have done. And then what are you going to do next time to keep the promise and commitment to yourself? So it's a very rationalistic approach, but I think it's understanding we need to return you back to the point where you made a choice and decision that can only come from a place of personal responsibility.
Right.